The Green Bay Packers are eyeing potential reinforcements as the edge defender market heats up, and the news surrounding AJ Epenesa adds an intriguing layer to the conversation. As fans, it's essential we stay engaged and informed about how these developments could shape our beloved team. So, where are you watching from today? We want to hear your thoughts on the Packers and their off-season moves. In the wake of Micah Parsons' absence for the early weeks of the season, the Packers' edge defender situation has turned into a pressing concern. Yes, General Manager Brian Gutekunst has made strides in addressing most positions, particularly on defense and the offensive line, yet the edge spot remains an area that could use some reinforcement. The recent draft brought us Danny Sutton in the 4th round, but is that enough to bolster our pass rush? ESPN's Matt Bowen has put forth a compelling option. The Packers could benefit significantly by signing AJ Epenesa, a free agent who is currently on the market after a failed physical with the Cleveland Browns. Epenesa, an athletic edge defender, spent the first 6 seasons of his career with the Buffalo Bills. Standing tall at 6'6" and weighing around 260 pounds, he possesses the long, powerful frame that could complement our defense effectively. Bowen emphasizes that the Packers lost rotational edge rusher Kingsley Enagbare to the Jets in free agency, creating a vacancy that Epenesa could fill nicely. Epenesa's track record speaks for itself. With 24.5 career sacks and 4 interceptions during his time in Buffalo, he has demonstrated the ability to disrupt opposing offenses. His statistics from recent seasons show he's consistently generated between 20 and 30 pressures each year, tallying an impressive 28 pressures last season alone. While he may not be a superstar, he would certainly provide a solid presence in the rotation, something we desperately need right now. Let's not overlook the fact that Epenesa's potential signing could align well with the Packers' current coaching staff. His previous defensive coordinator in Buffalo, Bobby Babich, now serves as our secondary coach and pass game coordinator. This familiar connection could ease his transition into the Packers system, allowing him to contribute right away. Now, as we assess the current edge group without Parsons, we note that we have Lucas Van Ness, Brenton Cox Jr., Barron Sorrell, Colin Oliver, Danny Sutton, and Aaron Mosby on the roster, along with undrafted rookie Nigel Kelly and Dante Barnett from the International Pathway Program. While this group has potential, the addition of a seasoned player like Epenesa could provide the depth and experience we need to ensure our pass rush remains impactful. As fans, we must remain vigilant and hopeful that Gutekunst will explore this avenue. The Packers have a reputation for making shrewd moves, and bringing in Epenesa could be a strategic win for the franchise. The clock is ticking as we approach the season, and with every decision made, we inch closer to solidifying our defense. Transitioning now, let's take a look at another critical aspect that has been buzzing within the organization. The team's overall strategy moving forward seems to hinge on several key decisions that could shape their performance this season.
We're standing on the precipice of a pivotal season, and the Green Bay Packers have their share of pressing concerns as they gear up for 2026. With plenty of talent on the roster, the potential for greatness is there, but there are a few clouds looming that could threaten the team's success. So, where are you watching from, Packers fans? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because there's much to unpack here. Let's dive into the injuries that are casting shadows over the Packers' prospects. The 2 most significant injuries from the 2025 season still linger in the minds of fans and analysts alike. The team is hopeful that Kraft will be back on the field come Week 1, but the status of Parsons remains more uncertain, with expectations that he might miss the initial games of the season. The unpredictable nature of ACL recoveries is a double-edged sword. While some players, like Christian Watson, bounce back seemingly without a hitch, others struggle to regain their former selves. If Parsons and Kraft cannot return to their peak performance quickly, the upward trajectory of the team could be severely hampered. Another concern arises from the departure of Rasheed Walker in free agency, leaving the door wide open for Jordan Morgan, a former first-round pick, to step in as the starting left tackle. While the plan seems sound on paper, Morgan has shown promise in limited opportunities. His experience is scant, with just 51 NFL snaps under his belt. And let's not forget, those were under less than ideal circumstances, blocking for a backup quarterback. If he falters, the alternatives are far from ideal. Moving Zach Tom to left tackle with Darian Kinnard at right could undermine the offensive line's effectiveness, while the potential shift of Anthony Belton back to tackle doesn't inspire much confidence either. The offensive line is critical, and if it doesn't gel, the entire offensive scheme could suffer. Wide receiver Golden has been a topic of intrigue. especially after showing flashes of potential in his rookie year. Despite being on the field, he didn't get the targets you would expect, reflected in his disappointing stats. With just 1.35 yards per route run, he found himself trailing behind teammates in various metrics. Fans are right to have expectations for his second season, but we must face the reality that development in the NFL isn't always linear. Improvement is hoped for, but it's not guaranteed, and if he doesn't take that leap forward, it could further complicate an already challenging receiving core. On the defensive side, the Packers made moves to bolster their cornerback position, bringing in Benjamin St. Just and drafting young talents Brandon Cisse and Domani Jackson. However, the infusion of new faces doesn't automatically translate to a solved problem. These rookies are developmental players, and their immediate impact may be limited. St. Just could provide depth or even start, but his previous role with the Chargers as merely a role player raises questions about his ability to step up when needed. The release of Nate Hobbs, who failed to meet expectations, only adds to the uncertainty. Currently, the primary starters are Kayshawn Nixon and Javon Bullard in the slot, with a mix of young players filling the gaps. While there's optimism, it's easy to see how a repetition of the defensive struggles from 2025 could materialize if things don't click. Then there's the head coach, Matt LaFleur, who found himself facing scrutiny following the disappointing playoff exit against the Bears. Many of the concerns expressed were warranted. His conservative play calling, an overly run-heavy approach, and the team's struggles against weaker opponents have all been glaring issues. While LaFleur remains a respected figure and a brilliant offensive mind, if he doesn't adjust his strategies, the calls for change will only grow louder. Coaching changes also bring their own set of uncertainties. Jonathan Gannon, a proven defensive coordinator, steps into the spotlight, and while there have been promising trends in his previous roles, the question remains: can he replicate the success that Jeff Hafley had as the Packers' defensive coordinator? The wrong fit or a drop in effectiveness could spell disaster for a defense that needs to rise to the occasion. In summary, while the Packers have the potential to soar high in the upcoming season, the challenges are real and multifaceted. From injury recoveries to strategic decisions on the field, the stakes couldn't be higher. It's a tumultuous time, and only as the season unfolds will we see if these clouds dissipate or grow darker. Now, let's move on to the next critical aspect influencing the Packers' future.
The 2026 schedule is finally unveiled, and the excitement surrounding the Green Bay Packers' upcoming season is palpable. With training camp just around the corner this summer, fans are eager to see how the roster will take shape and what strategies will emerge. But before we dive deeper, let's hear from you. Where are you watching from, and what do you think about the Packers' chances this season? Comment below, and let's get that discussion going. As we look over the schedule, one notable aspect is the Packers opening the season with 2 road games. This is a familiar trend, but it certainly sets a demanding tone for the season. However, the first taste of Lambeau Field action won't come on a Sunday. Instead, fans can expect a thrilling Thursday night showdown against the Falcons, which is bound to generate an electric atmosphere. Fortunately, there are no international games on the docket this year, a welcome relief considering how poorly those have historically treated the Packers. The consequences of international travel have often weighed heavily on the team, so this should allow them to focus on their domestic schedule without those added complications. The bye week is slated for Week 11, providing additional recovery time before a significant matchup against the Rams just before Thanksgiving. This is an important respite that could prove beneficial as the team navigates the latter part of their season. There's a lot to be optimistic about, and as I analyze the matchups, there are 3 games that stand out on this year's schedule that every fan should circle. The simmering rivalry with the Bears is sure to be a highlight. The animosity between these NFC North foes has only intensified in recent seasons. Reflecting on the last 6 meetings, it's clear that the stakes are high. The Packers managed to clinch a victory in Week 14, but the Bears struck back in Week 16, culminating in a dramatic playoff confrontation where Green Bay squandered a commanding 21-3 lead. That kind of collapse left the fan base seething, and it's clear that significant changes are desired as we move into this new season. General Manager Brian Gutekunst has been active, reshaping the roster that fell to the Bears in the postseason. By the time Week 5 rolls around, the team will undoubtedly look different, and the anticipation for their matchups in Weeks 5 and 16 is mounting. That 11-week gap could lead to 2 completely different teams taking the field, making each game all the more intriguing. While the Packers have had their struggles, there's an opportunity here to turn that page against their oldest rivals. And let's not forget about the incomparable atmosphere of Lambeau Field. Just imagine Sunday Night Football, snow blanketing the ground, and two storied franchises going head-to-head. It's a football fan's dream. Now, shifting gears, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. Their journey mirrors the Packers in many ways. Always a contender, but unable to break through to the pinnacle. For the Bills, the roadblock has been the formidable Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They recently found themselves in a prime position in the playoffs, with Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow all absent. Yet, in a heartbreaking twist, they fell to the Broncos in yet another playoff disappointment. The Packers, too, have had their chances in the NFC, with the 2020 season standing out as a particularly poignant missed opportunity. This season, both teams have a lot to prove, and the prospect of a late-season clash is tantalizing. It's time for both franchises to rewrite their narratives, and a matchup that could echo into the postseason is just what fans crave. Notably, the Packers will face the Rams right after their bye week in Los Angeles. This game is critical, especially considering Matt LaFleur's history of success against Sean McVay. The Rams are also a top-tier NFC contender, fresh off a nail-biting loss to the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. Adding another layer to this matchup is former Packer Davante Adams, who now dons a Rams uniform. Adams has faced a similar fate in his career, appearing in 5 NFC title games and losing them all, 4 with the Packers and 1 with the Rams. Both teams are all too familiar with the bitter taste of coming so close, only to have their Super Bowl dreams dashed at the last moment. In summary, the Packers' schedule is shaping up to be well-balanced, allowing for a strategic approach as they manage player injuries and capitalize on their matchups. With a host of exciting games to anticipate, including honorable mentions against the Patriots, Lions, Texans, and Buccaneers, the upcoming season promises to be a memorable one for Green Bay. Now, as we wrap up the segment, let's keep the conversation rolling. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts on the Packers' prospects this season. What games are you most excited for? Your insights are valuable, and we want to hear from you.